The smell of freshly baked bread filled the small kitchen. Emily wiped flour off her cheek with the back of her hand and smiled at the rising loaves in the oven. The little bakery at the corner of her street in Yaba, Lagos, was warm, full of light, and full of laughter. Outside, customers waited, chatting and sniffing the air like happy children. This was home. This was joy. Emily was 32, with skin the color of warm caramel and eyes that always looked like they were smiling, even when she wasn't. Her hair was tied in a messy bun, and she wore her favorite pink apron that said, "Made with love." And truly, everything she made carried that magic. Bread, cakes, cookies, meat pies, puff puff, even buns that made people say, "Ah, Emily, God made your hands with sugar." Beside her stood her husband, David, tall and dark-skinned, wearing a blue t-shirt and jeans. He leaned on the counter, sipping Zobo and scrolling on his phone. "David," she called sweetly, "please take that tray of sausage rolls out for me." David groaned, setting his phone aside like it weighed more than the earth. "Emily, I'm tired," he said. "My back is paining me." Emily laughed. "Tired from sitting?" He rolled his eyes and dragged himself to the oven. He wasn't always helpful, but Emily didn't mind too much. She loved him, truly loved him, and she believed things would get better soon. David had lost his job almost 3 years ago, and though he tried here and there, nothing had worked. So, Emily had kept the home running. The bakery paid the bills, fed them, and even gave a little extra. After work, they walked home, fingers gently touching. The sky was gold and orange, like the city itself was blushing from joy. Children played on the roadside, women sold roasted corn, and someone's loudspeaker played a love song from the 90s. Emily leaned her head on David's shoulder. "One day, this bakery will be big. I'll open a second branch. Maybe in Lekki. What do you think?" David nodded. "Maybe, as long as it doesn't stress you too much." "I don't mind the stress," she said. "You're here, and that's what matters." He smiled, but something in his eyes flickered. Emily missed it, or maybe she chose not to see it. Their one-bedroom apartment was small but cozy. The walls were painted yellow, and pictures of their wedding day hung near the fridge. Emily's best friend, Rachel, had been her maid of honor. She was the one holding the umbrella over Emily's head when it rained that day. Rachel had a wide grin and tiny dimples. They had been friends since secondary school. Rachel visited almost every day. She helped Emily in the shop sometimes, laughing, tasting cake batter, and whispering stories of her dates and office drama. She was like a sister. One day, as Rachel walked into the shop, she winked. "My bestie, smell this perfume. My new boyfriend got it for me." Emily laughed and pulled her into a hug. "Ah, Rachel, you and boyfriends. When will you marry?" Rachel stuck out her tongue. "When someone serious shows up. Not these unserious men that know how to buy perfume but not propose." David came from the back room just then. He gave Rachel a half-smile and walked past them. Rachel watched him. "Is he okay?" she whispered. "He's fine," Emily said. "Just needs a job. I know things will turn around soon." Rachel squeezed her hand. "You're strong, Em. If I were the one, I don't know if I could carry a man like this." Emily smiled but said nothing. On a Friday evening, rain began to fall. Emily and David were returning home after shopping for baking supplies. David offered to drive, even though he rarely did. She was happy. Maybe he was starting to feel better about things. "Let's take the shortcut through 3rd Avenue, he said. "It's raining hard, David. It'll be faster." She nodded, trusting him. The road was slippery. The rain sounded like drumming on the roof. Emily clutched her seatbelt as they moved through the puddles. "Slow down," she said gently. "I've got this," David said. But he didn't. The scream was quick. The tires skidded. The car flipped once, twice. Then silence. Emily's world turned black. When she woke up, the ceiling was white. Not the ceiling of her house. The smell of disinfectant filled her nose. Her body felt strange. She couldn't move her legs. A nurse stood over her. "Madam, thank God you're awake. You're in the hospital. You were in a car accident." Emily blinked. "Where's David?" "He's fine. No broken bones. He's been discharged." "But you, madam," the nurse's voice slowed. "Your spine was badly hurt. You can't walk right now." Emily blinked again. What? The nurse looked away. You're paralyzed from the waist down. The world tilted. She tried to scream, but only tears came. David didn't come the next day. Or the next. He came after a week. When he walked in, his eyes were cold, like the Lagos harmattan wind. Emily, he said, I'm glad you're okay. Why didn't you come? I've been thinking, he said slowly. This is hard. Emily reached for him. I need you. Please, David. I'm scared. He touched her hand but didn't grip it back. Rest, Emily, he said and walked out. Rachel visited more. She brought food. She brought gossip. But even she looked different now. Her hugs felt stiff. Her laughs didn't reach her eyes. Emily noticed the way David looked at Rachel when they crossed paths. She prayed she was wrong. But her heart began to crack. After 3 months, Emily was discharged. She returned home in a wheelchair. The bakery had been closed for weeks. Bills had piled up. Rachel stood in the kitchen one day, whispering on the phone. Emily rolled past and caught the words, I'll be there soon. Don't worry, she's sleeping. Emily didn't say anything. That night, she pretended to sleep. She heard the front door open. David didn't return until morning. The next day, she asked, Where were you? David stared at the floor. Don't start. Are you seeing Rachel? He looked up. His eyes burned. What if I am? Emily felt something snap inside her. You're my husband. She's my best friend. David stood, face hard. I didn't sign up for this life. For a wife who can't even walk. Her tears came, slow and hot. I stood by you for years, she whispered. I carried us. I loved you. David didn't reply. He left that day. And didn't return. Rachel didn't call. No one did. Emily sat in her room, alone, cold and hungry. She hadn't paid rent. Her account was almost empty. I have nothing left, she whispered. She looked at her wheelchair, looked at the oven. I have nothing. Then her phone rang. An unknown number. Hello. Good morning, a man said. Is this Mrs. Emily Adelai? Yes. My name is Barrister Clement. I'm calling regarding an inheritance from your late uncle, Chief Philip Adelai. Emily's heart skipped. I don't know him well. Well, he knew you. You've been named as the sole heir to his estate. What does that mean? Emily, you have inherited $100 million. The room spun. But, she gasped, are you sure? One condition, the lawyer said. You must keep it secret for 6 months. No one must know. Not even family. Not even friends. Emily's hand trembled. A whisper escaped her lips. Why me? The lawyer smiled on the other end of the line. Maybe it's time the world sees the fire behind your quiet smile. Emily sat still for a long time after the call. Her hands were cold. Her lips were dry. $100 million. She whispered it again, just to hear how it sounded. It didn't feel real. The roof above her was still leaking. The fridge still made that annoying humming noise. Her wheelchair still squeaked. Yet, the lawyer had said she was rich. Beyond rich. She thought of David. She thought of Rachel. And she smiled. It was the first time she had smiled in weeks, and it wasn't because of bread or laughter or love. It was because something inside her had shifted, like a quiet lion had just opened its eyes. She called the lawyer back and agreed to the condition, keep the inheritance secret for 6 months. If she broke it, she would lose the entire money. No one could know. Not even her mother. Not even her priest. Not even her own shadow. Can I get a small amount now? She asked. Yes, the lawyer replied. We'll release $500,000 as a silent advance to help you get back on your feet. But everything must remain private. Can you handle that? Emily said nothing. Then slowly she nodded. I can. 2 weeks later, Emily's life began to change. She moved out of the small apartment where pain lived in every corner. She found a small but beautiful place near the edge of town, close to a quiet river. She paid rent for a full year in advance. She bought a new bed, fresh curtains, and a big fridge. Not for show, but for peace. She told her neighbors she got help from a distant cousin. That was enough for now. Then she turned to what she knew best, baking. With the help of a young tech guy she met at a shop, she opened an online store. Emily's Golden Crust. She didn't put her face on the page. Just pictures of her bread. pies and cakes. The orders began slowly, but they came, one by one, like drops of rain before a heavy storm. One afternoon, as she was lifting a tray from the oven, her phone buzzed. "Hello, Emily," a warm voice said. Her heart jumped. Michael! It had been years. Michael was her childhood friend. Her first friend. The boy who gave her his mango every day in primary school because she once said she loved mangoes. "I heard about the accident," he said. "I've been looking for you." "I'm so sorry." Emily felt her eyes sting. "It's okay. I'm better now. Can I come see you?" She hesitated, then smiled. "Yes, please." When Michael arrived, he stood at the door, holding a basket of fresh fruit. He was tall, with warm eyes and the kind of face that made people feel safe. He looked at her wheelchair and didn't flinch, didn't blink, just stepped in and hugged her. "I missed you," he said. Emily wanted to cry. Instead, she said, "You're squeezing the air out of me." He laughed, and the room felt alive. Michael stayed for hours. They talked about school days, old neighbors, silly stories, and favorite meals. At one point, Emily said, "You know, people say I've changed, that I don't laugh the way I used to." Michael looked at her gently. "Maybe you haven't changed. Maybe you've just grown into someone stronger." Emily looked down. "I don't feel strong." "But you are." Days passed. Michael kept showing up. He brought ingredients. He helped with deliveries. He took photos of her food. He even fixed the squeaky wheel on her chair. One night, after a long day of baking, Emily sat on her porch. The river nearby glowed silver under the moonlight. Michael sat beside her. "I'm proud of you," he said. Emily didn't speak. "I know you went through something hard," he continued. "And I don't know all of it, but I'm here now. If you need someone." She looked at him. Really looked. And for the first time in months, she let her guard fall. "I was betrayed," she whispered, "by the man I loved, and my best friend. They were together, behind my back, while I was still healing, while I couldn't even stand." Michael's jaw tightened. "I'm sorry. I begged him to stay," she said. "But he left, like I was nothing. You were everything. He just couldn't see it." Emily began to heal. Not just her body, but her heart. The orders for her online bakery tripled. She hired 2 women from the area, both single mothers, both struggling. They laughed in the kitchen like sisters. The space filled with music again. The air smelled of bread and joy. She didn't speak about the money, not even to Michael. But deep down, she knew the second chance was a blessing, and it had to be protected. Meanwhile, in a dusty apartment far from her new life, David and Rachel were facing a different reality. The money was gone. The hotel stays, the dinners, the clothes, all gone. David had tried to start a business with borrowed money. It failed. Rachel had lost her job after being caught stealing office funds. She claimed it was a mistake. HR said otherwise. Their one sweet love was now full of shouting, slamming doors, and silent dinners. "I thought you said she'd never survive without you," Rachel spat one evening. David rubbed his forehead. "She wasn't supposed to." "Well, she's doing better than both of us." David stared at the ceiling. "I want to see her." Rachel laughed bitterly. "What are you going to say?" "Sorry I dumped you in a wheelchair." David stood up slowly. "Maybe I made a mistake." Rachel crossed her arms. "You think?" A week later, Emily was rolling a tray of hot puff-puff to the front door when she saw a figure standing outside. Her heart froze. It was David. He looked thinner, tired. His eyes begged for something. Maybe forgiveness. Maybe help. "Emily," he whispered. "I'm sorry." She didn't speak. "I've made mistakes," he said. "I miss you. I need you." She looked at him quietly. "Please," he begged. "Just give me a chance." She opened the door wide and pointed to the exit. "Leave." 2 days later, Rachel came. She wore sunglasses and a fake smile. "Emily," she said sweetly, "I came to make peace." Emily didn't blink. "Peace," she said softly. "Or money." Rachel's smile cracked. "I'm not the enemy," she said. "No," Emily replied. "You're worse. You were my sister." Rachel's face hardened. "You think you're better than us now?" Emily smiled. "No, but I'm not the one who threw away love for lies." That night, Emily cried again. Not because she was weak, but because she had been strong for too long. Michael found her on the porch. He sat beside her. She didn't speak. He held her hand. She leaned on his shoulder. And together, in that silence, she healed a little more. The 6 months were almost over. The lawyer called. "Are you ready, Mrs. Adelai?" Emily breathed in. "I was born ready." The day the 6 months ended, the sun rose early. Not just in the sky, but in Emily's heart. The lawyer's voice on the phone was calm, but the words danced like a birthday song. "It's time, Emily," he said. "The full inheritance is yours now. $100 million. Transferred into your new account." Emily sat very still in her kitchen. Her fingers curled around a glass of Zobo, her eyes blinking slowly. "Thank you," she whispered. But she didn't scream. She didn't dance. She just closed her eyes and let peace wash over her like warm honey. She had survived the silence. She had rebuilt her world in shadows. Now the light could come. The next day, Emily met with the lawyer in a quiet office downtown. He was an old man, with white hair and kind eyes. "You kept the secret well," he said, smiling. "Your uncle believed in you. He watched your strength from afar for years. He knew who you were, even when others didn't." Emily blinked. "He barely knew me." "But he saw you," the lawyer said. "That's more than most people ever get." Emily nodded. "So what now?" "Now," he asked. "Now you decide who you want to be, not just what you want to buy." She didn't rush to change her clothes, her house, or her face. She didn't start traveling or throwing parties. She still baked bread in the morning and counted flour with her girls. She still rolled in her wheelchair through the town, waving at the Okada men and buying oranges from Mama Ike. But something had changed. Her eyes were clearer. Her voice was stronger. Her spirit had turned gold. She called Michael first. "I want to show you something," she said. He arrived at her house looking curious. "What is it?" She handed him a piece of paper with numbers on it. "What's this?" "My bank account," she said. "Check the balance." Michael's eyes scanned the number. Then he looked at her, shocked. "This is... Emily, what?" "I'm rich, Michael. $100 million. But I had to keep it secret for 6 months. That time is over now." He stared at her like he'd just met her again. "You've had all this, and still lived simply." "I wasn't trying to impress anyone," she said. "I was trying to find myself." Michael smiled. "You didn't just find yourself. You built yourself." She laughed. "And now I want to build something bigger." Emily didn't want to be just a rich woman with a bakery. She wanted to be a fire in the dark. She bought a large building in her area and transformed it into a new kind of bakery. Not just for food, but for people. It had wide doors for wheelchairs, free classes for young girls, and jobs for those who had once been forgotten. She called it Golden Crust Home. Inside, she hired 10 more workers. Mothers, widows, students, and even a young man with one hand who had been laughed out of every job interview before. The place smelled of cinnamon and courage. She still rolled into the kitchen every morning, still checked the dough with her fingers, still laughed with her staff. But now, she also paid for their children's school fees, helped fix their roofs, and showed them what love with power looked like. News spread, not of the money, but of the kindness. People started whispering her name in the market. "That's the woman who helps others quietly. That's the lady in the chair who gave my cousin a job. That's the bakery that never turns people away." She became a quiet legend. But not everyone was clapping. Far away, in a one-room apartment with peeling paint, Rachel saw Emily's name trending online. Emily hadn't posted anything herself, but one of her workers had shared a video of the new bakery opening, praising her boss. "Is this the same Emily?" Rachel asked, staring at her phone. David sat on a broken stool beside her, eating plain rice. "She looks different," he said slowly. "She's glowing. She's winning," David added bitterly. Rachel threw her spoon. "She's not better than us." David didn't answer. Because he knew. She was. They came again, this time together. Emily was helping a customer when they walked in. She froze. Her heart did not race. Her hands did not shake. She turned slowly. Rachel was wearing sunglasses again. David had trimmed his beard. But both of them looked tired, smaller than before. "Emily," Rachel began, "we need to talk." Emily looked around. Outside. They walked to the side of the building, where the garden stretched in the sun. Rachel removed her sunglasses. Her eyes were red. We made mistakes. David cleared his throat. We were wrong. You didn't deserve what happened. Emily said nothing. We're not asking for money, Rachel added. Just forgiveness. Please. Emily looked at them. Her eyes were not angry. They were not cold. But they were far away, like she was looking through them. I forgive you, she said. Rachel blinked in surprise. But I won't let you in again, Emily continued. Not into my life. Not into my peace. David took a step forward. But... Emily raised a hand. I built all this from the ashes you left me in, she said. Don't ask me to burn it down again. Rachel looked down. David clenched his fists. Emily turned and rolled back inside. Later that night, Michael came by. He had watched from the window. You okay? He asked. She nodded. I feel like I finally closed the door they left open. Michael smiled. And now, she said, I open new ones. She started a foundation. Not in her name, but in her mother's, the Igioma Foundation. It gave scholarships, microloans, and training. It taught women how to bake, sew, speak in public, and walk tall, even if they couldn't walk at all. Emily watched them grow like trees. And inside, she bloomed again. One Sunday morning, Emily visited her old church. She hadn't gone in months. As she entered, people turned and stared. Not at her wheelchair, but at her face. It glowed. Pastor Bode paused his sermon. Emily Audley, he said from the pulpit. Welcome home. She smiled. Thank you, she whispered. Rachel tried again, once more, to reach out. She sent a message. I'm sorry for everything. I miss us. Emily replied. I miss who you were, but not who you became. Please take care of yourself. Rachel never messaged again. David also tried once more. He emailed her. I see what you've built. I'm proud of you. If you ever need anything, I'm here. Emily deleted the message. She didn't need anything from the man who left her in pieces. She went to the river one afternoon. The same river near her house. She brought a piece of paper with 2 names written on it. David and Rachel. She placed it in the water and watched it drift away. I release you, she said. Not because they asked, but because she deserved peace. She rolled home, where Michael was waiting with dinner. He had made jollof rice and fried plantain. You're late, he teased. I was letting go of the past, she replied. He grinned. Did it float? She laughed. It did. The bakery buzzed with life. Children laughed as they waited for their favorite coconut bread. Women in aprons danced as they packed orders. The smell of vanilla, butter, and freshly baked joy filled the air. Emily watched it all from her corner office, sunlight pouring in through wide glass windows. She wore a green and gold wrapper, her hair tied neatly, her face soft but strong. This was no longer just a bakery. It was a kingdom, not made of gold, but of grace. Not built by noise, but by quiet thunder. Emily rolled through the hallway, smiling as her staff greeted her. Auntie Em, good morning. Boss lady, see my puff puff today, no burn. She laughed. Let me see, Miriam. If it's not perfect, no jollof rice for you today. Miriam pretended to faint, and everyone laughed. The building had grown. There were now 3 training rooms, 2 kitchens, 1 quiet therapy corner, and a reading space for children. The Igioma Foundation had become the heartbeat of the area. And though many tried to copy it, no one could copy the soul behind it. Emily's soul. On her birthday, Emily decided to hold something different. Not a party, a Thanksgiving. She rented a large hall in town. She didn't invite celebrities. She invited the woman who cleaned the bakery at 5 a.m., the boy who once swept the street in front of her gate, and the girl who delivered bread on her bicycle every weekend. They all came, not because she was rich, but because she was real. Michael stood by her side that day. He wore a native outfit with soft blue patterns. He looked like peace in human form. As the music played, he leaned closer. Everyone here loves you, he said. Emily nodded. Not because I gave them money, but because I gave them hope. Michael looked into her eyes. And what did you give yourself? She paused, then answered. Permission. To do what? To live again. After the Thanksgiving, Someone asked Emily why she hadn't moved abroad or opened fancy branches in London or New York. She smiled gently. Because the world doesn't need more noise, she said. It needs more places where broken people can feel whole again. That was the kind of woman she had become. And she didn't need a plane ticket to prove it. One morning, a girl named Halima came to the bakery, shaking and crying. Emily brought her inside. What happened, dear? My husband left me, Halima sobbed. He said I was useless because I lost a child. He said I was cursed. Emily pulled her close. You are not cursed, she said. You are chosen. Halima looked at her through tears. But I have nothing. Emily smiled softly. I had nothing once too. But the day I stopped looking for love in those who couldn't see me, I found everything. She gave Halima a job, and a room, and peace. That night, Emily sat alone in her office. She looked around at the pictures on her wall. Photos of the first bread she sold online. The first group of trainees. Her mother's old cooking spoon, framed beside a quote. Even broken hands can feed a nation. She remembered the crash, the silence, the betrayal, and then the slow rise, like bread in the oven. It all made sense now. She was never supposed to stay broken. She was supposed to rise differently, quietly, but powerfully. A knock on her door. It was Michael. He held a small cake with one candle. What's this? She laughed. It's not your birthday, he said. But it's the anniversary of the day you got your inheritance. The day everything changed. She smiled. I almost forgot. I didn't. He lit the candle. Make a wish, he said. Emily looked at the flame, then closed her eyes, and said nothing. She didn't need to wish for anything anymore, because she already had everything she needed. David came again, this time through a letter. He wrote, Emily, I see the life you've built. You are the woman I should have never let go. I'm sorry. I hope you found peace, because I haven't. If you ever want to talk, I'm still here. Emily folded the letter quietly. She didn't cry. She didn't shake. She simply walked over to her shredder and let it go. Rachel sent a voice note months later. It was short. I heard about the new building. I'm starting a small business now. I want to say, I'm sorry, and I hope your light never goes out. Emily didn't reply, but she smiled, because she had once prayed for Rachel to suffer. Now she prayed for Rachel to learn. Emily was invited to speak at conferences, asked to write a book, offered radio shows. She said no to most of them. She didn't want to talk. She wanted to do. Let the people with louder voices give speeches. She would stay here, feeding souls through flour, faith, and forgiveness. One night, she looked at Michael across her dinner table. He had helped her without asking for anything. He never pushed, never pretended to fix her, just stood by her through every flame. Michael, she said. Yes. If I asked you to stay forever, would you? He smiled. I already have. They didn't rush to marry. They didn't throw a big wedding. One quiet afternoon, under a mango tree in front of her bakery, they exchanged vows with a small crowd of friends, staff, and strangers who had become family. Emily wore a gown that flowed like water. Her wheelchair was decorated with white flowers and golden leaves. As she looked into Michael's eyes, she whispered, Thank you for seeing me before the world did. And he said, Thank you for rising. They built more bakeries across Nigeria, but never franchises, only safe havens, where forgotten women and broken men could learn how to knead hope into dough and rise again. Emily's name was never written in gold on a wall, but it was written in hearts, not because she was rich, but because she was strong, not loud, but unshakable. She was a thunder they never saw coming, and in the quiet of every night, she sat on her porch, looking at the stars, not searching for answers anymore, but just giving thanks for everything lost and everything gained, for the pain and for the peace and for the woman she had become. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you might not hear my voice again, but if you are, then you are growing every day. Check my page for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.